Okay, these come in every year. The precedent tables. I love these. They're actually quite straightforward. Just got to take your time. Okay, so you've got a process here. This is publishing a book. So it's basically saying that to publish a book at one point, you're going to have three tasks running at the same time. So think about if I'm making breakfast, like I go to the kitchen, I turn the light on, and then here I get the kettle going, get the toaster on, and then maybe I start doing some dishes or something. But you run, a few things at the same time, and we use this to work out, what's the longest it'll take us to do something. So for us, what we need to do is look at what task came before the activity, and we start off by saying, well, if the preceding task is none, nothing came before, I have to start on C. So I've now done that. And then you look for C. Okay, preceding task was C. That's going to be B. And then you look for B. So that's the preceding task B. So that's going to have to be a D. Very good. Now you also notice there's two other tasks that should precede this. So let's have a little look. I've got a D. I've also got an H and an I. Okay, so it could be H and I. Could be that, couldn't it? HDI. Why not? And then we're thinking, okay, what's going to come next? So after H, it's going to be A. And then after A, where's A in this list? The preceding task would be A, G, A, J, or G. So I think I need to make sure that this is round the other way. So I'm going to put my HA in there. Because after A, it's going to go to E, which is finished. Okay, so that's that one then, yeah. Very good. And what was the other one I had? It was D. Yeah, so I put him up there. Okay. So it's a two-tasker. After I, so the preceding task is I, it's going to be J. And what comes after J? Yeah, that makes sense. We've got another straight to E. So that's a good one. So let's go for my D1. Preceding task is D. So F had D before it. That's good. And then I'm looking for F. So if the preceding task was F, then it's G. And we should hopefully find then that G, yep, there we go, takes us to E. So that one was a tiny bit trickier because you had, 2, 2, and 3, so you've got to figure out which is which. But, just trial and error, just, write down the right letters and then go with it and see which is which, It's easy to change it about. But just look for your letters and then follow to the preceding task, score out as you go, and just take your time. You might have wanted to start at this end, actually. For this one, you might have said, well, wait a minute, there's E, so I'm going to have A, J, and G, but you're kind of left with the same problem of which one's which, but you could have worked your way back as well. So yeah, we better trial and error for that one. This is a great question. So we've got books into a box. They have to be facing upwards. So this has to be on the top. Okay, so all you can do is twist them round. You can twist them round in this direction. You can't flip them on their side. And all the books go the same way. Calculate the maximum number of books that can be packed into each box. Okay, so for this one, I like to visualize it. Like the way they've got it, if I literally put the books in that way, how many books can I get? And then I'm going to draw the box out again. Okay, so the box is going to go out. And you could, I welcome you to do this in your thing as well. 50 centimeters. So I think we put it into, we do centimeters the whole lot. 50 centimeters, 120. Yep. And for centimeters for that, it's going to be 19.5. That'll be 12.5 and 2, because 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So to go from millimeters to centimeters, I'm dividing by 10. So I just move the decimal. So for this one, I'm going to flip the book the other way. I'm going to have the book like this when it goes in. So that dimension is still 12.5. This one is 19.5. The height's the one that stays the same. Yeah, the height is still going to be 2. Okay, so it just helps me visualize it. This is going to go in like that. And this one's going to go in that way. So then all I want to do is compare my different dimensions. Okay, so for this one, let's just move that down a little bit. I'll call this, I'm going to call that breadth, length, and height. So all we're going to do is compare breadth, length, and height each time. So the breadth, I've got 50 and 19.5. So you're saying, okay, I've got 50 divided by 19.5. How many books can I get in there? For the length, I'm comparing 1 meter. Oh, I need to change that, sorry, to centimeters. So it's 100 centimeters. So I've got 100 divided by 12.5. And for the height, I've got 20 centimeters divided by 2. So I've just compared the B's, the L's, and the H's, kept it all the same. And what you've got to be careful with, so 15 divided by 19.5, you have to round down the way, don't you? So that's giving me 2.5, so I'm going to have to then call that, so 2.56, so that's the same as 2. I have to round down, I can't round up for this. 100 divided by 12.5 is going to give me exactly 8. So I'm going to call that 8, and 20 divided by 2 is 10, so 10. So if I multiply all those together, I'm going to get 160 books, okay, if I do it that way. But I can also do it the other way. Just check for time. Now this time, the dimensions of the book have changed, but still, my H, L, and B are still the same, because the box hasn't moved. So I'm just going to write that in, so 19.5, 12.5, and 2. So they're all the same. Okay. Let's just compare the heights. I know the height actually staying the same, so I can't flip the book around the other way. So that's going to be 20 out of 2. Oh, sorry, I've done that. Sorry, I've done that the wrong way. Sorry, forget that. Just thinking, oh, that doesn't have to make sense. Just let the computer catch up. Sorry, so what I meant to say, sorry, was the 50 stays the same. Sorry, the 100 stays the same, the 20 stays the same, because the box hasn't changed. But the book has, so the height-wise hasn't. But if we look here at the length, so the length's going this way, I'm comparing 119.5. And the other dimension is 12.5, because this time I'm comparing that dimension with this dimension. So you see how actually when you look at the sums, it's just these two numbers have flipped, because I flipped the book round. Yeah, the height stays the same, but just these two. So I'll do that same thing again, 50 divided by 12.5. So that's going to come out as 4. And again, you would round down if you don't get a nice number. 100 divided by 19.5, that's going to come out as 5.12. So that's going to be 5, and that still comes out as 10. And then I multiply them together. So 5 times 4 is 20, times 10 is 200. So this way is the best way, and 200 will be your final answer. Let me just check the marking scheme for our marks. So you're getting evidence of the 2 correct ways. So just to set up this in 2 different ways, you're getting a mark just for showing that, and then you get a mark for doing it properly one way, and a mark for doing the other way with your final answer. So just even demonstrating you know how to twist the book round, there's a mark to be had for that. But I think this is a good way of doing it, because you can visually compare, the lengths that you're looking at dividing. That's going that way, that's going that way. So I'm saying, well, how many 19.5s are there in 100? 12.5 is going this way, and the 50 is going this way. How many 12.5s can I get into 50? So if you draw it out like that, it makes it a lot easier. But they were trying to give you a little bit of help by not, flipping the book over, so you wouldn't have the book stood up, this way. That would give you a lot more calculations to do. Okay, so we wouldn't do it like that. We're just twisting it round. Okay. And yeah, if you just did it one way, you would have got a mark for that. But demonstrating, that there's 2 ways to do it, there's a mark for that. So yeah, nice little question, but I think maybe the first time you see it's quite tricky, but this does come up a lot, so figure out a good strategy that works for you, and get that in the bag, So that's us done that one. I'll do this on the next video.